Hello, welcome to Two Broads Abroad.
This one is about our East Coast road trip.
The continuation after we left New York, headed through New Hampshire, Vermont, onto Acadia and Maine. And stay tuned till the end to see some of the travel hacks that we've figured out.
Some of the lessons that we've learned along the way.
Oh, yes.
And we continue to learn. When we left Ithaca, our goal was to explore as many of Lindsey's recommendations as we possibly could. We touched on Vermont as we went to New Hampshire, and we went to the famous Cog Railway. That railway climbs to the peak of the mountain at 6,288 feet. Some people choose to climb it on foot. Renee and I did not. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a terrible reputation for extreme and unpredictable weather. It holds the world record for the highest wind speed ever recorded, 231 miles per hour. When we got there, it was 27-degree temperatures and winds at 65 miles an hour. We did jump out and we did take a photograph, but we got out and we got back in so quickly. It was ridiculously cold. We noticed some passengers were very ill prepared. They were shivering in their jackets and the wind was howling. As we began our descent, our train broke down. The captain or the driver was in touch with people in the office, and they managed to get it going again. But that 10 minutes was crazy. It was rocking. It was iced over. Renee and I had decided who we were going to eat if we had to stay there for very long. Luckily, we didn't have to. We made it home, and it was very safe. But then we went to the Mount Washington Hotel. This hotel is steeped in history and charm, and they serve a damn good hot toddy. Then we ended up in this beautiful little motel. It was under construction. The amenities were good, especially the pool and the sauna and the hot tub. And I got to tell you, that felt damn good after our brisk start to the day. The next morning, we made it to Maine. We drove, and it was beautiful. We checked into a charming little motel, and then we did a bus tour of Arcadia to find out where we wanted to go back to. We decided to do a hike our friend Sarah had recommended. It was the Great Head Trail. It did not disappoint. It was a moderate hike. It was breathtaking. Hiking poles, a game changer. Think of them as athletic equipment instead of just walking sticks. We did a little detour down to the sandy beach on this hike, and it was gorgeous. Climbed up, and we ended with the rocks climbing up. A lot of people did it the other way around, but we found that was better for us. If you guys try to do this, it's well worth it. It's beautiful. Thanks again, Sarah. We went back to our little motel, and conveniently, we have Mainly Meats right across the street, and a bartender had recommended their lobster rolls. And I got to tell you, the lobster rolls were amazing. They were just moist and delicious and packed with lobster. And, their whiskey wasn't bad either. The following day, we headed out on a puffin tour. We'd only just left the shore, and we were greeted by two bald eagles just flying above. It was beautiful. Never seen eagles really before, and couldn't believe it. We ventured along the coastline. The views, as you can see, were incredible. A lot of harbor seals sunning themselves on the rocks. They just basking in the sun, and it was gorgeous. Our wildlife expert, he was a young guy from Michigan. He was beside himself, over enthusiastic about two harlequin ducks that just he spotted, and he'd seen them days before, and they're not indigenous, so he was really surprised to see them. This is Bar Harbour Lighthouse, National Register Historic Places, currently privately owned and not open to the public. Egg Rock Lighthouse, it's an active navigational aid. It flashes red every 40 seconds. It was also added to the National Register of Historic Places back in 1988. And this just looks like a beautiful home. Would love to know who lives there. The Permaquid Point Lighthouse was originally commissioned by President John Quincy Adams in 1827. It was originally lit with candles, but they could be seen from 2 miles away, which I was surprised by. Interestingly enough, this lighthouse was voted by Maine residents to feature on the Maine Quarter, so you have seen it before. After our boat tour, we just strolled through Bar Harbour, had a couple of beers in a couple of different bars and didn't take any pictures, so sorry about that. We'll try and get better and make sure that we do let you know of our favourite bartenders. The flowers were gorgeous, and we hope to get back to Bar Harbour someday. It's become a favourite. Another recommendation of Lindsey, we reserved a drive to Cadillac Mountain to witness the sunrise. In the first place, the sun touches the United States. Despite the dreary, misty morning, crowds had gathered with a hopeful anticipation, but we unfortunately didn't see the sunrise. It was cloudy, it was misty, it was still beautiful, but we didn't see the sunrise. After a somewhat disappointing sunrise, we headed to Jordan's Pancakes to eat our feelings. Oh boy, this place is incredible. It's an institution. It's been here a long time. Seems to be very popular with locals and with tourists. And their wild Maine blueberries is the thing. Their pancakes and their muffins. Delicious. Thoroughly recommend it. If you're in Bar Harbour, you should go. And you should get there before 7 in the morning, because if you get there after 7 in the morning, there's a line. On our way out of Maine, we stopped at Hussey's General Store. We picked up one of the items featured on this sign. I'm sure you can guess which one it is. Our next stop was Buffalo, New York. With our passports in hand, we crossed onto Ontario on the Canadian side. We boarded the Maid of the Mist, donning our rain ponchos. And it was an exhilarating experience. You could say invigorating, or it was just cold and wet, depending on your perspective. The power and the magnificence of these falls are really just amazing. It really is just unbelievable.
All right. We are on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, and we're getting ready to go through them. Here she is dry.
Yeah, currently dry. Expecting not to be dry at the end of this.
Right. And again, we have to say, yay Bessies.
Yeah.
It's raining pretty hard here, and our feet are super dry.
Super dry.
Massimo's, because look at here is our view. Not too shabby. You always have to treat yourself after something like that.
After enjoying a couple of Manhattans, we decided to wander around the town. We do love our Canadian neighbors and the warm hospitality that they offer. A couple of things that we saw was this Ford truck, vintage Ford truck, and Renee was in awe. You just can't take Detroit out of the girl. We saw Taylor Swift at Madame Tussauds, and then we headed to Beer Devil and had a couple of beers, sort of English style beers. They were very good. Headed back over to the American side of the falls and just continued to snap some photographs. So enjoy. The only one on the list of recommendations that we didn't do was the ferry to Nova Scotia. And that's just because it was a little out of season. They weren't doing daily ones and we couldn't make it work.
So we've learned a few tips and tricks now that we're finishing up the East Coast, and we want to pass them on to you.
We've learned some lessons. If you're going to get a soft top roof carrier, don't get one that's off-brand. Get one that's a good brand, because leaks and broken straps, they're just not worth it. They're really not.
My God, we had our main strap break, so we had to buy bigger ones to go around the carrier and through our windows. But as we've told you, it rained all but 3 days. The straps, it's basic science, kept all the water and then just started dripping it on all of our stuff inside the car.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, lessons learned.
Right.
Sharing them with you.
Moving on.
Another one that we would share is if you're going to be booking, we've been trying to do things on a budget, camping and, inexpensive hotels, motels. So we've been using some third-party apps, and always make sure that it's above a 7.5. We don't need the Hyatt, we don't need the fancy hotels, but, we do need some things.
And not cigarette burns on the bedspread and such. The place we stayed in Buffalo was dreadful. The guy was very kind. He gave us our money back, said he had just bought the hotel. But
yeah, we ended up not staying there. We went into the room
right.
and then we left. And we're not going to mention it because his family had just bought the hotel. So, hopefully they'll make the changes that are needed. So we're not going to.
Right. He was really kind.
Yeah. The other thing too is if you do see a price that you're looking up on a third-party app like booking.com or hotels.com, give the hotel a call before you actually hit it, before you book it through the app. We learned that oftentimes if you call them direct, let them know the price that you're seeing, they will give you that price, but they'll if you book it direct, they'll throw in an upgrade.
Sometimes breakfast.
Yeah, sometimes breakfast or an upgraded room. They would rather not pay the fees that you have to pay to these third-party apps. So just a tip, you can often get a same price, but with a better deal,
Or a lower price without any perks. But
yeah. Other things that I'd like to bring up is car snacks.
I think this is not debatable, but go ahead.
Edamame, not a good car snack. Absolutely just not a good car snack. It's happened a couple of times when Renee's like, look what I've got, car snacks. And I'm like, what?
It's not Cheetos, but I know I have my followers in the edamame, so just put it down in the comments below how much you love edamame, especially in a car trip.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Another are some of the apps that are out there. We used Fetch and Upside. So Fetch is really good if you're shopping, which we were doing a lot of grocery shopping. You get points for that. The only thing I didn't quite like about Fetch is they would sort of move the goalposts. If you had a certain amount of points, you could get a $100 gift card or whatever, and I would be really close. And then a week later, I'd go in, and now I needed like 5,000 more points. So that was a little irritating. And I think that really only happens with the gift cards. So take that for what it's worth.
I remember you, when we needed gas, you would be looking things up.
That was with Upside. Love them. You basically, when you're getting ready to look for gas, you tell them to start looking for gas stations. It also had some restaurants. We didn't really use that part of it because we didn't eat out a lot. But they would give you the nearest gas stations and how much money was off. Sometimes it's 1 cent a gallon, but there were ones that were 10 and 15 cents a gallon. And considering how much gas we went through, that was hugely helpful.
Didn't we get some cash back as well for gas purchases? So
right.
That was useful.
Right. You just plug in an account and you can see it at the top of the app and it just starts accumulating. And then when you're ready, hit send and it gets into your account in 3 to 5 business days. So
every little helps, right?
Exactly.
Shout out to Maine drivers. The state of Maine drivers, they were amazing compared to all the other states that we've driven in so far.
Including our own.
Well, come on. I mean,
Chicago and Michigan.
Chicago drivers, Michigan drivers. Yeah, it's we certainly got used to it. I mean, I was a Chicago driver.
Mm-hmm. I was Chicago and Detroit.
But Maine, I swear, the slower drivers in the right lane, and and if you come up on somebody in the left lane, they pull over. They don't try and slow you down. They don't try and block you. There's
run you off the road.
Yeah, they were super nice. So big fan of Maine. Definitely a big fan of Maine.
Absolutely.
And I think really,
I think that might be everything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
learned so far.
Yeah, it's been great. We're having fun. So yeah,
we got to hit all the places that we wanted to see on the East Coast for now. We're headed to Greece next.
Yeah, we're heading to Greece for 14 days. So our next video will be about Greece and our shenanigans there.
And probably some islands you've never heard of before.
Oh, think Mamma Mia.
Hint.
So this video took us from Mount Washington to Bar Harbour to Buffalo to Ontario. And we're still having good adventures. We're having a good time. We're thrilled to share these experiences with you, and we hope that you're enjoying them as much as we are. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to tell your friends. We can't wait to bring you along on the next escapade. Da, 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 da.